Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about the Pink Panther films directed by Blake Edwards, and I have this collection of Pink Panther films, and lately I've been watching quite a few films by Blake Edwards because the Criterion channel is featuring a few of his films, and so that really kind of interested me, or got me interested in the Pink Panther films, or just all the films of Blake Edwards. First of all, I should say, before I talk about these films, that the Criterion channel often does this. They will have a feature on a specific director, and I was always a fan of Blake Edwards, of course, for many, many years. But one of the films that really intrigues me quite a bit is a film called That's Life, which I know is maybe not one of his most popular films, but it features Jack Lemmon and Julie Andrews. And for some reason, that film itself makes me want to watch all the films of Blake Edwards. So maybe you have a favorite director, or maybe you have a certain actor maybe that will get you into watching all the films. But after I saw that film again, which I've seen many, many times on the Criterion channel, I started getting interested in Blake Edwards movies, and I thought I should really watch all the Pink Panther films again. Many of the Pink Panther films were a big part of my childhood, and so I saw those in the 70s. And so I thought I would talk a little bit about this collection today. I also happened to, and I plan to do a video on this at some point, watched for the first time Breakfast at Tiffany's. I know that's hard to believe, but sometimes, a film has just been on the radar or not been on the radar for many years, and then all of a sudden you see it. And I absolutely loved it. So I'm hoping to do another video where I just talk about that movie. But for today's video, I want to talk about the Pink Panther films. I do have this collection. I know there's a Blu-ray collection of this too, which I didn't have a chance to pick up. Sometimes what happens too when I get into directors or certain types of films, I really get into it, and then I look for the collection, or I look for some of these films, and I realize that they're out of print, or that there was a sale on something months ago, and so I just kind of missed it. And I think this was the case with the Pink Panther films. But this one has them all. They're all on DVD. And I think you can still get this on Amazon. I got this on Amazon, and I think it was pretty affordable for all the films. And you can see there's a little description here for each of the films, lists the year out, etc. And I'll talk about each of them. I've been through all of them with the exception of The Trail of the Pink Panther, which was the last film. This film was made, I believe, with a number of clips with Peter Sellers, because Peter Sellers had already passed away. But Peter Sellers is hilarious in all these movies, as well as Herbert Lom, as an example, is also very good in the movies. Let's see. I want to start talking about this with the first Pink Panther film, which was from 1964. I don't believe I saw the original Pink Panther movie when it came out. I was too young for that. But I rewatched it. I really enjoyed it. But I have to say, one of my favorites on this collection is A Shot in the Dark, which I hadn't seen in many, many years, and I really enjoyed it. One of the things I really love about Blake Edwards movies is, which I noticed throughout many, many of his films, is that he is so good at the party scenes in the movie. Party scenes to me seem to be very challenging to coordinate and to move the camera around and to make sure that you're moving on to the next part of the scene or the next character that you want to focus on. And to me, anyway, this is my opinion, Blake Edwards is just an expert at the party scene. And so there's quite a few party scenes and group scenes in each of these Pink Panther films, and they're done expertly, I feel like. And so that's one of the things I really enjoyed about it. The other thing too is that I noticed early on, but you see it in some of the later Pink Panther films, is Blake Edwards also had a love of, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments here, silent films and slapstick, and you can really see that in these Pink Panther movies. And A Shot in the Dark, also, just remembering back, I saw this a couple of weeks ago. I also am really drawn into the colors and the quality of the film as well, and I feel like A Shot in the Dark is just amazing. I'm just remembering the opening sequence and how it almost looks like Rear Window, because you're kind of peering into these windows at the beginning of the movie. But I really love A Shot in the Dark. And then I'm sure the next one that I saw as a kid, or maybe this was the first one that I saw, was The Return of the Pink Panther, because it was in the 70s. As you know from watching the channel how much I love the 70s. And so that's when I really started to watch a lot of these films, or maybe some of these films appeared on television for the first time. And so The Return of the Pink Panther is one of the movies that I'm sure I was introduced to early on, and that's where the Phantom is played by Christopher Plummer, also who I'm a big fan of. But I love the scenes also with Peter Sellers, and he has a, I hope this doesn't spoil anything for those that may have not seen any of these movies, but he has a companion that he has in the apartment. His name is Cato, and he practices with Cato all the time. Cato's always trying to surprise him and to kind of improve his skills as a detective and as a I can't really say a martial artist, but they use a lot of different weapons in the movie. But it's really funny how Peter Sellers comes into his apartment each time and is really afraid of what Cato is going to do and how they're going to wrestle or fight. And the scenes are so well choreographed. Again, really, really funny. Blake Edwards is amazing also at these choreographed type scenes where there's a lot of mayhem and destruction and just a lot of tomfoolery in general. So that's another thing that I just love about the movie. Herbert Lom also is really funny as the chief inspector, and he is really annoyed by Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau. Peter Sellers, again playing this character, seems to get very lucky in the way he investigates and inspects and proceeds with this police work that he does. And so I think Herbert Lom, as the chief inspector, gets extremely frustrated with him. And in fact, that's the theme of a lot of the movies, where it basically drives him crazy because Inspector Clouseau is doing all these wild and crazy things. So I really enjoyed that about the movie. A lot of the plot in this movie too is not very well defined. It's just it's very much based on this slapstick element, and many of the scenes seem to go on quite a long time just for the slapstick elements of it as well. The next one after that, which I'm sure I saw, is The Pink Panther Strikes Again. It says here also, there's a quote on the back here too, which I think is so true. Peter Sellers is the poet of slapstick. I mean, he does such a great job in these movies. And again, the plot is, I believe in this one, Herbert Lom is creating a doomsday device and wants to really see Inspector Clouseau off the planet, if you will. So, and the final one, at least the final one that I saw here, is Revenge of the Pink Panther from 1978. And again, I really had a great time with it. You really have to suspend your disbelief in a lot of cases with these movies. Really just enjoy it. Enjoy the slapstick elements. Enjoy Peter Sellers' performance, which, again, many times it feels like the scenes are going on quite a long time. But I just really love it. I just really get into it. These movies also, I think you have to be in the mood for. And I just happen to be in the mood for some escape. So they're not too serious and perfect if you just want to put them on. The other thing I wanted to mention too is that I did not see the original. I think there was an original Inspector Clouseau movie with Alan Arkin. I have not seen that one. I also have not seen the other movies that I think Roberto Benigni was in after Peter Sellers had passed away. There were a couple of other films that were done, but I was looking at the reviews on Letterboxd, and they didn't look very good, so I have not seen those. But let me know in the comments if you like these films, if you've seen these films, if you have a favorite. Again, I think my two favorites at this point are A Shot in the Dark from 1964 and The Return of the Pink Panther. I'd say those would be my two top favorites because I'm sure I saw those more than any other movies. But I would like to talk a little bit more about Blake Edwards, so let me know if you have a favorite Blake Edwards movie and that I've seen or maybe that I need to see, and I would be happy to do that. I'm working my way through a couple of his other films. I love the movie 10 as an example. Was rewatching that. I'm hoping to make a video about Breakfast at Tiffany's also. The Great Race is also something that is on my radar, and I've started that movie, again, filled with slapstick elements as well. Blake Edwards, I believe, and again, feel free to correct me here too, but was with Julie Andrews for many, many years, so there's a collaboration there, especially in the later films, which I'll be talking about. And I do like some of the later films where he's really exploring some more complex issues and midlife, things like that. So this, I'm hoping, again, over the next few weeks to do more videos about Blake Edwards. I just love him as a filmmaker, have a lot of respect for him. I should say, too, One of the other things I really enjoy about these movies is the music from Henry Mancini. So I just love the theme to the Pink Panther movies, but also Henry Mancini did the music for many, many of Blake Edwards' films. So let me know again in the comments if you have a favorite movie from Blake Edwards and a movie that I should see, or a movie that you'd like to see me talk about, because that would be great. So this often happens with me too, as I mentioned maybe in the beginning here, that I often will find one movie that really gets me into a filmmaker's work, and then I just want to see everything that they've ever done. So, as you know, maybe from watching the channel, I do have many, many favorite directors, and certainly Blake Edwards is up there among the favorites. I really think he's a genius. So, thanks so much for watching this video today. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for the amazing support on the channel. Let's keep the dialogue going in the comments section below. I sincerely hope that everyone is safe and well, and I'll talk to you soon.